Okay, hey everybody. Good afternoon. See, we're starting a little bit late here, but that's okay. That's okay. First, I want to start by saying I do not have any products today, particularly my sea moss, because my blender officially died. She gave her last hurrah. I was making a green smoothie for Damon, and she couldn't finish blending it. I had to pour it into my NutriBullet to finish blending everything. So, rest in peace. She did a great job. So it's time to get a new one. Okay. All right, so that aside, so today we have 3 recipes. Today we're doing is high raw. So we're in spring now, right? So this is time to eat even more fruits and vegetables, right? So I would not be doing you all good service, especially with us leaving soon, to not introduce more raw foods that are in season, that makes it cheaper, makes it more nutritious and delicious. So today we have 3 recipes that we're doing, and 2 of the recipes actually go together, but we're doing taco salad with pineapple salsa, and for our dessert or snack or whatever, the sweet element for today are these no-bake chocolate cherry almond bites. Again, they're on my website, and the external view is not in order, so you have to scroll for your life. Unfortunately, I did not reach out to the website editor. Oh, I didn't finish waiting on hold. That's what it became. I got frustrated and hung up. But to fix that, so I don't know why I keep showing not in order. But yeah, so our lecture for today, I see we have Jackie back, so welcome back. We were asked before our break about eggs, yes? And so I hadn't talked about eggs and why you should or shouldn't eat them in a year since we first started our class a year ago, and a lot of new faces have come since then. So I thought, like I did about a year ago, I played a video from a doctor and expert in the area, so you don't have to just hear from me, so you don't have to just hear everything from me. But before I show the couple of videos today, does anybody know the daily limit for cholesterol intake a day? What is recommended that you should eat this much or less cholesterol in a day?
500 milligrams?
300.
300. And there's 500 in an egg, right?
It's 240 in an egg.
Oh, okay.
In one egg. Okay, and that's if you have good cholesterol. If you have what they say not so good cholesterol, or you're on cholesterol meds, what is the recommended maximum caloric intake of cholesterol per day? 200 milligrams. So that's like a third of an egg, if you can. Okay, so there's just that. That's just one of the issues there. So is legally, as I've told you all before, it cannot be. You've never seen eggs labeled as nutritious, safe. What you see is that they're fresh. They'll put these these marketing words, but nothing about nutritious, nothing about healthy, nothing about safe are legally allowed, because they're not, right? I can't remember how many hundreds of people die every year just from salmonella from eggs every year. You know, just that in itself. They cannot even recommend that you eat eggs over easy. They have to be cooked hard if you do choose to consume them. So there's some of the little top line things about eggs that you kind of know, but maybe just putting it together a little bit differently. So this video I'm going to show you is a website. It's an excellent website. It's called nutritionfacts.org. So you can look up the nutrition facts of any foods you want to consume. And this is not with no lobby attached to it, because that's the thing. So a lot of time when people do a Google search, the first page or 2 of Google are all paid crap, okay? If you want to see real stuff on Google, go to Google Scholar, and then you can search there. But the regular Google is all marketing agenda, okay? So when you like you have Google, you have images, you have news, videos, you keep on going, there's Google Scholar. That's where my Google stays on, is Google Scholar. Where that way it can't just be somebody's opinion. It can't be paid by some lobbying group that has a vested interest in having whatever outcome they're paying for. It has to be produced by like a clinical study, double-blind, placebo-tested, that type of thing. That's Google Scholar, and that's where you'll find all more true information. You still have to read it. Don't just read the abstract. You have to go through and read the study. But okay, so we're going to proceed with that. Damon, are we good with the sound?
Yeah, the screen went out.
So I have 2 little videos on eggs, and then we'll have a quick discussion. And then I wanted to show a bonus video that's very quick that can just kind of put everything in context. All right, it's story time, guys. So this is the first quick video, and then I'll follow up the second quick video, and then we'll have a discussion, and I'll play the third video. Stay awake. Be alert.
In my video, Eggs versus Cholesterol in Atherosclerosis, I profiled a study showing that smoking more than a pack a day for 10 years is bad for your arteries, and combining egg eating and smoking is even worse, thus the effect of eggs and smoking appeared to be additive. But egg yolks alone in non-smokers was associated with artery-clogging plaque buildup nearly 2/3 as bad as smoking. This certainly ruffled some feathers. Yes, eggs are by far the #1 source of cholesterol in the American diet, but letters to the editor like this one protested that dietary cholesterol may have very little impact on blood cholesterol levels, citing this study published in 1971, performed on 8 people. But if you look at dozens of studies, all put together, covering hundreds of study subjects, we find that blood cholesterol concentration is clearly increased by added dietary cholesterol. Here's an extreme example just to illustrate a year in the life of a study subject on and off eggs. First, they take him off eggs, putting him on a cholesterol-free diet, and his cholesterol plummets within just 3 weeks. Then they give him lots of eggs, and he's back in trouble, and stays there until they take the eggs away and put him back on the cholesterol-free diet, and so on and so forth, turning his high blood cholesterol on and off like a light switch made out of eggs. Of course, the only reason we care about our cholesterol levels or how much plaque is building up inside our arteries is because we want to avoid the consequences, like a heart attack. So do eggs increase our risk of cardiovascular disease or not? Here's the latest meta-analysis, the latest compilation of all the best studies on egg consumption and risk of heart disease going back to 1930. When you put them all together, what do we find? Overall, those that ate the most eggs had a 19% increased risk of cardiovascular disease, a 68% increased risk of diabetes, and then once you get diabetes, an 85% increased risk of heart disease. And it didn't take much. Less than a single egg a day was associated with a significantly increased risk of heart disease. Just over half an egg a day may increase heart disease risk between 6 and 40%, and the risk of diabetes 29%. They conclude that their findings support the American Heart Association dietary guidelines, which advise restricted egg consumption in adults for preventing cardiometabolic diseases like diabetes, our 7th leading cause of death, and heart disease, killer #1.
Here's the next quick video.
The American Egg Board is a promotional marketing board appointed by the U.S. government, whose mission is to increase demand for egg and egg products on behalf of U.S. egg producers. Now, if an individual egg company wants to run an ad campaign, they can say whatever they want. But if an egg corporation wants to dip into the $10 million the American Egg Board sets aside for advertising, because the board is overseen by the federal government, corporations are not allowed to lie with those funds. What a concept. Which leads to quite revealing exchanges between egg corporations that want to use that money and USDA on what egg companies can and cannot say about eggs. Thanks to the Freedom of Information Act, I was able to get my hands on some of those emails. Of course, a lot of what I got looked like this. Please note a number of items about our Salmonella Crisis module. Any questions? Or even better, entire sheets of paper that literally just said this. That was the whole sheet of paper. Our tax dollars hard at work. But check this out. This is some egg company trying to put out a brochure on healthy snacking for kids. But because of existing laws against false and misleading advertising, the head of USDA's Poultry Research and Promotion Programs reminds them that you can't couch eggs or egg products as being healthy or nutritious. See, the words nutritious and healthy carry certain connotations. You know that food is actually good for you. But because eggs have the amount of cholesterol they do, plus all the saturated fat, the words healthy and nutritious are problematic when it comes to eggs. This is the USDA saying this. However, the USDA helpfully suggests you can say eggs are nutrient-dense, Wait a second, why can you say eggs are nutrient-dense but not nutritious? Because there's no legal definition of nutrient-dense. You can say Twinkies and Coca-Cola are nutrient-dense, but legally, you can't say something is nutritious unless it's actually nutritious. So for example, the egg industry wanted to run this ad calling eggs a nutritional powerhouse that aids in weight loss. The USDA had to remind the industry you can't portray eggs as a diet food because of the fat and cholesterol content. In fact, they have nearly twice the calories of anything that can be called low-calorie. Nutritional powerhouse can't be used either. Fine, the industry said, they'll move to Plan B, and headline the ad, Exceptional Nutrition. Nope, because again, given the saturated fat and cholesterol, you can't legally call eggs nutritious. So the ad ended up, find true satisfaction, and instead of weight loss, they had to go with, can reduce hunger. USDA congratulated them on their cleverness. Yes, a food that when eaten can reduce hunger. What a concept. You can't even call eggs a food relatively low in calories. Can't say eggs are low in saturated fat. They're not. Can't say they're relatively low in fat. Can't even call them a rich source of protein because they're not. It's illegal to advertise that eggs pack a nutritional wallop. Can't truthfully say that. Or have a high nutritional content. You can't say eggs are nutritious at all. Can't say nutritious. Cannot say eggs are nutritious. Sometimes you have to tell the industry a few times. Eggs have so much cholesterol you can't even say they contribute nutritionally. Can't say eggs are healthful. Certainly can't say they're healthy. Have you seen how much cholesterol there are in those things? Can't say healthy. Can't even say eggs contribute healthful components. Since you can't say eggs are a healthy start to the day, the USDA suggests satisfying start. Can't call eggs a healthful ingredient, but you can call eggs a recognizable ingredient. Can't truthfully say eggs are good for you, can't say they're good for you. By law, the egg industry needs to steer clear of words like healthy or nutritious. For food to be labeled healthy under FDA rules, it has to be low in saturated fat. Eggs fail that test, and less than 90 milligrams of cholesterol per serving. Even half an egg fails that criteria. For the same reason you can't tout ice cream for healthy bones, you can't say eggs are healthy, because they exceed the limit for cholesterol. Egg corporations aren't even allowed to say things like, eggs are an important part of a well-balanced, healthy diet on an egg carton, because it would be considered misleading, according to the USDA's National Egg Supervisor, since eggs contain significant amounts of fat and cholesterol, and therefore contribute to the leading killer in the United States, heart disease. The industry can't afford to tell the truth about eggs, or even the hens that lay them. The industry crams 5 to 10 birds in cages the size of a file cabinet their whole lives, but when providing footage to the media, the American Egg Board instructs, do not show multiple birds in cages, they look too crowded and open us up to activist criticism. In other words, do not show the truth. Not only is the industry barred from saying eggs are healthy, they can't even refer to eggs as safe. All references to safety must be removed, because more than 100,000 Americans are salmonella poisoned every year from eggs. The Egg Board response to this egg-borne epidemic is that salmonella is a naturally occurring bacteria. The egg industry didn't think that should necessarily be the key message, fearing it may be counterproductive by implying there's no avoiding salmonella in eggs aside from avoiding eggs altogether. That's why the American Egg Board can't even mention anything but eggs cooked hard and dry. No soft-boiled, no over-easy, no sunny side up, because of salmonella. The American Egg Board's own research showed that the sunny side up cooking method should be considered unsafe. And because of avian influenza as well, not just salmonella, in light of bird flu viruses, eggs must be cooked firm. The VP of marketing for the Egg Board complained to the USDA, saying they'd really like to not have to dictate that yolks are firm. What about some Washington Post article saying running yolks may be safe for everyone except pregnant women, infants, elderly, or those with chronic disease? Turns out that was a misquote. They can't be considered safe for anyone. Instead of safe, you can call eggs fresh, the USDA Marketing Service helpfully suggests, but you can't call eggs safe. You cannot say eggs are safe to eat, can't say they're safe, can't even mention safety, can't say they're healthful. All references to healthfulness must be deleted as well. Wait a second. Eggs can't really be called healthy? Eggs can't even really be called safe? Says who? Says the United States Department of Agriculture.
Okay. 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 Yeah. For these studies, it's just them eating only eggs as their. Is this no? Only eggs as their source of. There were different studies. One was done for 3 months. One was done for a year.
Eating only eggs?
No, meaning they ate a vegetarian diet, so without cheese, only with eggs.
I see.
Yep, in those particular studies. There are studies where they're also, that's another video I can show you, it'll get a little long, where they're eating other animal products plus eggs, and it shows the same up and down type of thing. So yeah, there's that. So all these came from, like I said, nutritionfacts.org is wholesome information about nutrition. The doctor who kind of runs this, he's world-renowned, Dr. Michael Greger. He's written several books. Big fan of his, actually. And the Freedom of Information Act, you can pull this information yourself and read for yourself, because they're not, again, they're marketing to you. They market to get in school so that you're brainwashed to think that eggs should be part of your breakfast plate. Like, they've paid for that, okay? Not because it's healthy, but because it's profitable. And then you have to do all this unlearning as an adult, because you've always seen eggs and bacon and all this and stuff, because you've been marketed to that that's what you should eat. Just like they marketed to women that you should smoke cigarettes. It's the same psychology at work here. So it's just the unlearning. And I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to provide the information so you can make informed decisions. So if you choose to eat eggs, just be aware of it. So if you happen to be a person that has high cholesterol, or happen to be a person that's on cholesterol medication, and you're consuming eggs and other animal products, you can get rid of that. Our bodies make an abundance of cholesterol. I mean, all of our hormones are produced from cholesterol. It's a cascading of hormone. It's an order that the body does it in. So it's not like you need to get another species cholesterol and intake it, because we produce our own. Okay, so it's not like omega-3 fatty acids or something we have to go out because it's essential to the body, because our bodies don't produce it. Cholesterol we make in abundance, our own. Okay, you don't have to eat someone else's cholesterol. All right, and it wreaks havoc on your body, and especially as we age, as it starts to show up even more. We're more resilient when we're younger, and as we get older, these things, because it's been happening for so long, it just starts to build up. So that's something to be aware of. So any questions or any thoughts on that, or any questions y'all have for me that I can answer before I show you this bonus clip?
So shall I throw my egg salad sandwich away? I'm joking with you.
I say do what you like to do. There are lots of different options. So in this class, I've shown you all how to make chia and flax eggs. I've shown you how to use the juice from beans that creates like egg whites. I've shown you chickpea tuna, so you can make egg-like stuff without actual eggs. We've done tofu scrambles as well. We've ranged the gamut of egg types, and we had aki, which is another type of egg-like texture if you want that. There are lots of options, right? But again, you've just been ingrained with that. You can just explore different things and learn to love something new for breakfast. Like Leon now loves apple granola for breakfast. Right? Whereas that wasn't part of his routine before. So you can learn to love new things and expand your palate instead of just doing what you've been doing for 20, 30, 40 years. You know, your gut microbiome would appreciate the diversity as well. Okay?
Is that Google Scholar app?
So when you go to regular Google, you know, Google comes up and then at the top across it'll say images, news, videos, movies, right? If you keep going, there's a down arrow. It's Scholar is there. Yep, it's just one of the options, and that's where all the published information that was pulled up was all from Google Scholar. So you can see all the clinical trials, all the information, all the results of those clinical trials. So that's where you should go, not the first pages of Google for most things. Because as you see now on Google, the first 3 or 4 things are sponsor ads when you Google something. It's whoever has paid the most to get visibility on Google. So it's not the best information per se, it's who's paying the advertisers the most money. So that's just something to be aware of. We're always being marketed to, so it's the constant unlearning and keeping our eyes open that we have to be aware of.
On YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, they have a holistic doctor
Uh-huh.
that said we should be eating 5 eggs a day. This was yesterday. Yeah. So look it up. I'm telling you.
There's a lot of nonsense out there. So, and I'm sure they're coming from a great place, okay? But make your own decision. You make your own decision. I'm just providing information. This is, again, you go to the grocery store, tell me if you see any carton of eggs that says healthy, nutritious, or safe. Tell me if you don't see words like fresh and free range, which means they get to go outside for 10 minutes a day and go right back in those battery cages. Tell me what you actually see in those cartons of eggs.
They say cage free, which I mean, the eggs don't usually go in cage if you think about it. But I've seen that.
They're promoting it as a benefit, but they have loopholes. They have legal definitions for what those things mean. That's why they said you can call Twinkies nutrient dense because there's no legal definition for it, right? They can call cage free certain things. Now they have legal definitions what that means. They get a very short span of time to have exposure to sunlight, but then they're right back inside that dark shed. So some of them are in the battery cages like you saw, and some are in these houses that they're just stacked on top of each other, and they consider that cage free. So it's, there are other options. That's all that's all this class is for, to show you that there's other options and you don't have to be seduced by marketing. Okay, you can make a better decision, and then it actually tastes really good. That's the purpose of this class.
Especially now the eggs is $7.
There's that.
I missed your other class how you make an egg, because I just had an egg this morning.
If you would like to see this amplified in a very entertaining way, I challenge you all to watch, if you have Netflix, to watch The Game Changers. It has like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It has a lot of like athletes and celebrities in there, and you can see the direct effects, particularly of cholesterol, how it affects men and how it affects women. It's a really good, entertaining docu. It's a movie, but it's not it's not in a series, but documentary-ish. Informational movie. I don't know what they call it. It's some genre, whatever they call that. So I would encourage you all to watch The Game Changers. The Game Changers on Netflix it will further the point, but in a very entertaining way. He's a doctor. He's as energizing and entertaining as I could find. So there's that. Any other questions or comments on eggs?
So when are you going to tell us how bad cheese is for us?
I'm getting to that right now.
I can be vegan except for cheese. I love cheese.
I totally get that. And so, like I told you all, I was a sugaraholic and a cheeseaholic, and I totally get that. My sister, you know, she is an eggaholic and a cheeseaholic to her core. I mean, to her core. And she's like, if you lived in Greensboro still, you could cook for me. I'd be vegan, but on my own, I'm dangerous. So I understand that. So this bonus video is not related to eggs per se. I played it before in class, and I just gave a heads up. There is use of like 2 profane words. So if anyone is sensitive to profanity, that's just how this girl's talking. But she does a really good job making this point in a very short span of time. So just want to give you all a heads up. If you don't want to hear profanity, you might want to leave the room. Okay. All right. and then we can have a full conversation. Then we'll get into our highly raw dishes today.
Alright guys, so since everyone's so busy these days, I'm gonna explain to you how the dairy industry works in 5 minutes. Like other female mammals, cows only lactate, or produce milk, when they're pregnant or have a newborn to feed. So the dairy industry inseminates or impregnates cows starting at the age of around 12 months over and over and over again so they keep making milk. And it's a rather routine process. You see, first the industry jacks off a bunch of bulls, sometimes using a hand or help from an electro-ejaculator, which is basically a giant cow dildo that goes into the anus of the bull until he blows. And that semen is collected and then inserted into the vagina of a female cow with a long tube, usually while she's confined in what the industry calls a rape rack. And sometimes they put their fist right into the anus of the female cow, you know, to loosen the area.
To make the process as effective as possible.
What are you feeling for in there when you, it's a bit jumpy? I think I would be if someone did that to me.
Just bringing it out. He massages a little bit just to relax everything and help that semen go where it needs to go.
You must be responsible for a lot of calves.
Yes.
And when that baby cow is born, it's pretty much immediately taken away from its mother and locked in a crate. Because if it stayed around mom, it would drink her milk. And that shit's for us. And you see, a mother cow's bond with her young is very strong and affectionate, and she sometimes cries out for days in search of her baby. But nobody gives a shit. If the baby's a male, his throat is slit and he's sold for veal. And if it's a girl, she's raised to be a milk machine like mom. So dairy cows are continuously, repeatedly kept pregnant their whole lives to keep them lactating. This leads to premature aging, exhaustion, and mastitis, a painful yet common condition in dairy cows, which is inflammation and sometimes infection of the udder. Pus and blood in the milk of dairy cows is also common, so it's usually filtered. But not completely, because in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, up to 400,000 somatic cells are legally allowed in every milliliter of cow's milk. And in the United States, 750,000 somatic cells per milliliter. In Brazil, 1 million. And somatic cells, most of which in this case are white blood cells, are the same thing that erupt on the top of a big zit, so you could call it pus. The more bacteria, inflammation, and infection, the higher the somatic cell count. But don't worry, there's a limit. And when a dairy cow is finally too physically and emotionally exhausted to continue on, she collapses. These cows are called downers, and they are dragged out by whatever means to be killed and sold for beef. It's common in the industry, even on organic dairy farms, for cows to go down after about 4 or 5 years of continuous milk production. But peak milk production declines around 4 to 5 years anyways, so if the dairy cows are still standing, they're gonna be killed for hamburgers and beef regardless. You see, the dairy industry is the meat industry. Almost every single dairy cow that you will ever buy milk that came from ends up being killed for meat. So if you're vegetarian, you might want to think about this, because at least when you're being raised for meat, you're just raised for meat and killed. But when you're a dairy cow, you are sexually exploited and emotionally and physically exhausted until you can't take it anymore, and then you're killed for meat. Sounds worse to me. And the natural lifespan of a cow that hasn't been completely exploited? 20 to 25 years, y'all. And as far as the calcium and protein thing goes, study after study after study has shown that those consuming the highest quantities of dairy actually have the highest cases of bone fracture and osteoporosis. And there are dozens of amazing plant-based sources of calcium and protein, so you really don't need to suck the tits of a cow. I mean, the dairy industry has wormed their way into education systems, nutritional programs, and media to convince us that we need to drink milk. But when you're in school learning about how good milk is for you, that's not because there was a panel of people who care about your health that determined that. That's because the dairy industry paid lots of money for you and your children to hear that message in school, and on TV, and on billboards, and magazines, and for your doctors who don't have to take more than a few hours of a nutrition course to tell you to drink your milk. You see, rhino milk is for baby rhinos. Dog's milk is for baby dogs. Cat's milk for baby cats. Rat milk is for baby rats. And cow's milk is for humans? No, it's for baby cows. And vegans are crazy? Dairy is fucking scary. Try almond milk, hemp milk, soy milk, flax milk, rice milk, Brazil nut milk, macadamia nut milk, cashew milk, any milk but dairy milk.
She's got a nice, beautiful slick coming out. That's a very good sign.
Also for tiny.
Okay. Okay. After he,
There's no cows milking food.
okay. So,
I drink almond milk, so you tell us how to find that.
oh yeah,
My friend drinks a lot of milk.
yeah. Add cheese.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Do you make vegan cheese?
Because I don't feel the need for cheese anymore. I don't, but because I was a cheeseaholic, yes. Miyoko Skinner, she's like changed the game of making actually delicious vegan cheeses. And then there's a artisan place, and she can vouch for it at Oh My Soul restaurant, where they bring in artisan cheeses from all over the country, and it is delicious. Oh My Soul is a South African vegan restaurant in Noda, and they have a deli section and a cheese section, and they bring in all sorts of cheeses. I took Karen there, and it's delicious. So if you need that transition where you feel like you still need cheese, I mean, I used to love Parmigiano Reggiano was my favorite, and my 2 jobs ago, I used to have to travel to Florence, Italy all the time, and I'll always go up to Parma and get a half reel of Parmigiano Reggiano. I mean, I was a cheeseaholic, and I would pay the shipping for it to come back. That and limoncello when I would go. But yeah, so I do understand the transition. So if they are transitional cheese, all vegan cheeses are not good. Some of them are horrible. Okay, all right. So somebody they'll try one's like, oh, I hate all. No, I mean, it's coming along, right? And it's a process thing. It's not a health food, okay? It's just to help you transition. Like some people have to reorient their minds because they were used to seeing meat on their plate. They have to just reorient their mind, not because you need it there, but because you're just used to it. Some people feel like they have to have certain dishes with cheese because you're conditioned with that. So while you're transitioning, there are things to help you transition till you feel like, oh, I don't really need this. It's not really helping me. So this was just a bonus clip because I just want to always emphasize the importance of dairy, not only because it's super inflammatory, one of the most inflammatory things in the body that you can consume, that's whether it's cheese or milk. It's just the whole, everything about it. It's just everything about it. Like with eggs, like I think I mentioned, somebody told me before, like they're chicken, period. So chickens only have one hole. So everything comes out that one hole. So I was explaining before when I did this a year ago, when a woman has a period, a cycle, menstrual cycle, she releases an egg every month. It's the same with the chicken. Okay, that's what you're eating, an unfertilized egg that comes out the same, it's called cloaca. It comes out the same hole as her poop, pee, all that's all in the same hole. So it's not, you know, that's what they call the dirty bird. It's for that reason. So just saying. And then they starve the chickens to make them, because when they starve the chickens, it forces their body to produce more eggs, because naturally they produce about 13 eggs. And then they starve them to ramp up the numbers and keep them in dark places to ramp up how many eggs they can produce, which is very, very taxing on their bodies, which is why they have a very short lifespan. And once the egg-laying hen is spent, then because she's so detached, they can't even sell her for chicken. They cut her up and put her in like chicken soup, and all the stuff that you buy that's prepackaged meat, those kind of birds go into those things because she's too bruised and too broken down from all the egg laying. So they have egg laying hens, and they have the ones they raise for meat. So that's just be aware of those things. And again, this is not to gross you out or anything. This is just information, because we're not even doing it how we did it 75 years ago, where someone had their farm, and if they chose to slaughter an animal, everyone, you knew that animal, you know what it ate, right? Now all these things are getting injected with all kinds of crap. They're feeding them genetically modified ingredients. They're being put in these huge factories, and so when you buy your meat, it's not from the same animal. It's all different parts of different animals in that package of ground beef and the chicken and the pork and all the stuff that y'all are eating. So that's just something to be aware of, because you grew up like that, your grandmama did like that, doesn't make it right, okay? You can do better.
Those farmers were humane years
Huh?
ago. The farmers years ago, like you said, 7 years, they were humane.
Yeah. As humane as killing something can be. I mean,
Right.
at least it had a decent life until that tragic day. But now, from the time it's born to the time it's slaughtered, it is horrific. So even when people say, I don't care about the animals, that's something you've been conditioned to. Because if you have a baby and you put an apple and a rabbit, the baby is inclined to bite the apple, is inclined to play with the rabbit. We don't have a carnivorous sense because we're not carnivores, we're frugivores, biologically and everything. We are not designed to eat dead animal flesh. We don't have the physiology to do it, which is why we have to cover it in plants in the first place. That's why we have to cook it. That's why we have to tenderize it, because we don't have the anatomy or the infrastructure to break it down. Okay, so these are all things to keep in mind. We've been conditioned into this, and if you go back, everybody was pretty much plant-based. And when they did consume meat, this is every few months. Okay, it was a sacrifice type of thing. This is not, and then even 70 years ago, Sunday is when they ate meat. Sundays, and they respected that animal that was sacrificed. Now it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. It's cheese, eggs, meat, and more meat all day, every day. And then we wonder why we had this proliferation of disease, particularly in these westernized countries. It's not a coincidence that when our food became more and more crappy, we became having aisles and aisles of chips and soft drinks, and that didn't even exist 50 years ago, where half the grocery store is just nothing but literal crap that's been marketing to you by beautiful advertising. Half your cart, when I go to grocery, I look at people's carts, I'm just like, it's difficult. This wasn't even around. You said oxygen?
Yeah, oxygen in the can. What? In the supermarket. I picked up that.
I can't even comment on that. I can't even comment on that. Okay, so again, this was just, so hopefully this is, yeah, go ahead. Actually, I'll probably do a video on that. I just went shopping yesterday. My refrigerator, when I'm not preparing for class, because it looks a horrible mess when I'm preparing for class, it looks like a garden. Whatever I don't grow on my tower garden or get from the farmer's market, it's fruits and vegetables in my refrigerator primarily. Then my counter, I have more fruits and vegetables on my counter, and then freezer, I freeze a lot of stuff. So, and I have 2 freezers because I have so much stuff to freeze, because that's really what it looks like. My pantry is filled with all sorts of things because I am a sucker for spices and different flavors of the world. So all the things I like to try. My pantry is filled with a lot of crap. Like, not crap in terms of not healthy, but just a diversity of things. Like, I see something, like instead of like watching, playing video games, I like to go to grocery stores, and just look to see what's different. So I have a bunch of random stuff.
So fruits to me, just don't taste good anymore.
Let's talk about that.
That's because they put all those pesticides in them. I mean, they're not juicy, they're not sweet. So I find myself not eating a lot of fruit. And even I've gone to farmers markets. I mean, little small, on the side of the road, and they just don't taste good. I mean, in a grocery store. I mean, what farmers market do you go to? Because I know I need to eat more fruits and vegetables. I'm okay with vegetables, pretty good. But the fruit, to me, is just not satisfying. Plums are hard, peaches are hard.
Yeah, you're right. And we're actually planning on talking about that today. So you're right. So that has changed. There are places you just have to be more and more aware. They make it difficult for it just to be easy, where you can just go and get, right? Now you have to be an informed consumer if you want to be better. And that's what makes it difficult, because you all have the natural curiosity to want to do better for yourselves and just learn, whereas some other people don't. They're not there yet, okay? So understanding your fruit. So by looking at this pineapple, is this pineapple ripe or not?
It's there. Because it's brown.
Yeah, because the bottom is yellow.
Yeah.
But
Yes. Yes. The problem is that most people are eating fruit, particularly in this country, that's not ripe. So either they're picking the fruit too early and artificially ripen it, and that's why it tastes horrible most of the time, unless you go to those places. That's what it usually is. And then also, most consumers don't know what fruit is ripe. So if you can't smell, most of the time, if you can't smell, if this doesn't smell like a pineapple, it's not ripe. And if you see at the top of this, it's still green up here, but down here is golden. So this is like almost fully ripe, and this is when you want to eat it, so it actually tastes sweet. Otherwise, it kind of tastes sour beforehand. I've done this before in class. Which one is ripe? Right, and a lot of people will go for this one. Okay, the flavor and all, when a fruit is fully ripened, that's when all of its micronutrients are fully alive. So when you look up the nutrition of something and you're eating it in its unripened state, you're not getting all that. And that's the problem that most people are having. So you're absolutely right. And then people are not buying organic. So you have to buy things organic. Because you want to reduce as much exposure. Because organic doesn't mean residue free. It means it's not putting harmful chemicals on there. It still has stuff on there. But you want to just be knowledgeable of what those things are and try to buy it as close to the farm as possible or grow it yourself. GMOs is just... It's actually been growing. The organic section's been growing significantly. I've been actually impressed by that. But it's just really knowing whatever you're starting off, whatever you know that you like, find out what it is and if it's actually in season. Because now when you go to the grocery store, it's like, because things are coming from all over the world, there are no seasons anymore. So right now, if I want to eat raspberries, which are my favorite fruit, they're not in season. Okay, so that's why they cost more, and it's hard to find those things organic because they're not in season. And then they don't taste as good as when they're in season, so it's not as nutrient dense. So then it's coming from Chile, so they're having to pick those things early and ship them, right? It's a whole thing. So you have to know what's in season and eat what's in season, because what's in season is what's designed to help cure any diseases of that season. That's what it's designed to do. So.
What's your take on frozen? Because I understand that it's fresh. I mean, it's ripe. That's why they freeze it.
Yes, I'm a fan of that.
Okay.
I'm definitely a fan of that. As long as it's organic.
Okay. So you said frozen's okay?
Yeah, frozen's great. They pick it at the peak of ripeness.
Know that it's organic on the frozen package and we'll save it?
When I say must, it's definitely always preferred to buy organic. Yes, it's always preferred to buy organic. But the thing with the frozen ones, they wait until it's ripe on the vine before they pick it and freeze it. They flash freeze it. So the nutrients are preserved as much as it can be. There is a little bit of degradation, but not a lot.
You said that you have your garden. What kind of garden is it, and what do you fertilize? What do you fertilize? You do like
No fertilizer. Yeah, I have that.
Water and seed.
Yep.
Beautiful. I love it.
Any other questions or anything you learned from either of the videos about eggs or dairy?
Transition
Oh, yeah.
completely?
Yeah. It took him some time. He was still make mad dash to Bojangles on the low. Yeah, he did. He did. I don't know where he went. He would tell you. But like even like with my girls, like my stepdaughters and my nieces that live in the house with us, like I didn't tell them that they have to consume a whole food plant-based diet. I say in this house, you consume a whole food plant-based diet. But when you go out with your friends and y'all go to Chick-fil-A and stuff, that's what y'all do, okay? But we're not having any of that in this house because you have to show them how to eat healthy. Because then they'll be me when I'm older, and now I might have to unlearn all this stuff and learn. I wanted them to know, like, no, I know better, so I'm gonna show you better. Now what you do, the information is on you. Damon, they just asked if you fully transitioned to eating the whole food plant-based diet.
We're talking about it.
Yeah. He just said it took him a while.
That's why he's looking so good.
And when we got, his cholesterol was through the roof.
Really?
Yes, it was in the 900s. It was ridiculous. Yep. Yep. It was horrible. It was scary. And his liver enzymes were ridiculous. So all that's all a thing of the past. We've never been on medication or anything. So It was horrible. Oh, absolutely. I can send it out. I can put it on the email. It has like millions of views. So it's not, Dairy is Scary it went viral for sure.
Is that what it's called?
Dairy is Scary.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a condensed version of my health issues? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What did I not have is a condensed version. Okay. Okay, I see we have two new people in the class, and I was just asked, hey, can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me okay? We have two new people in the class, and I was just asked what health issues did I have. I had everything I could think of. I was pre-diabetic, like on the verge of being diabetic. I had a goiter. I was diagnosed with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. I have a whole bunch of fibroids. I had ovarian cysts as well. I had high prolactin levels, very high cholesterol levels, like it was in 300s, my cholesterol. What else? I can't, it's like, it seems like a distant memory. I had a lot of stuff going on. The main takeaway is that I had zero energy. And everything I ever did was sheer willpower, because I'm Nigerian and they don't care what's going on with you. You better get up and figure it out and make it happen. I don't care if you have energy or not. So that's the only reason why I was able to have any remote, quote unquote, success professionally, is because I was not going to disappoint my father. So, but I had no natural energy. Everything was forced. And I was just snoozing through life. It was horrible. And that was my normal. And then, of course, I had these horrible, painful periods on top of that. It was just debilitating. I routinely, my whole life, always missed work and school every month because I couldn't even walk. It was so painful and it was so heavy. I mean, I was always on myself all the time at work. I mean, I was the executive and I had to leave meetings because it was just a river, you know. It was terrible. And it's just like now, even though it's only been like a few years since it's been like that, it seems like a distant past because I feel like I'm just now getting into my 20s in terms of energy, because my 20s and my 30s, horrible. I watched a documentary that literally changed my life on a dime. I was always drawn. I never wanted to eat meat, not because I always loved animals. I always felt like, why am I eating them? It just didn't add up to me, and they always smelled weird. Like when I opened the package or when I had to clean out a chicken, it was like I'm holding my breath, and I just hated it. But I felt like I had to. And then every time I saw a vegetarian, I think I've said this before, I always saw them, they were very frail looking and gaunt and just not looking healthy. And I always saw them eating foods that I was allergic to at that time, which was like bananas. I'm super allergic to bananas still. But they were eating nuts, and I couldn't eat nuts then. They were just eating things that I couldn't eat. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to eat? You know, if that's their protein, so well, what? And I thought protein was just like, you gotta have protein crap that they sell you on. I didn't know. And so I watched this documentary, changed my life. I watched it with my father. We changed immediately overnight. I mean, I cleaned house. I took everything, I got rid of all that stuff, and I just started fresh, just thinking I would just feel better. And not knowing that everything I had completely went away. Especially when they had told me, oh, when you turn 35, if you haven't had kids yet, we'll just go ahead and give you a hysterectomy because, you know, and I was like, okay, like, I don't want no kids, and then having stepkids, I was like, I really don't want no kids. I don't feel that way anymore. But yeah, it was just like, that was just to be expected. And then so many, particularly black women, always had their full hysterectomies at 30 and 35, just taking your organs like it's just natural. Like, oh, you don't need those, just take them. You already had kids. Like it does more things than give you a period every month. There's a lot that it does, and you should keep your organs. Yeah. So that's what changed my life. And then as everything just went away, I was just like, oh my God, if anybody remotely told me what you're eating is the root cause of this, rather than putting these Band-Aids on it and then spend all the money on top of that, I would have done this years ago. But they were just like, it didn't matter what you eat, it's just the luck of the draw. It runs in your family, it's genetic, all that crap. So that's what happened. And I can't go back, won't go back, yeah.
There's a saying that my cousin, she does a lot of plant-based stuff. She said, food puts you into trouble, food can take you out.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely.
I folded for 8 years. I want my stuff.
And like I said, I'm not ever trying to demonize doctors. They don't learn this in school, right? And they're only required, out of the 12 years you're in school to be a doctor, they only take one nutrition course, which is backed by the USDA, which tells you eat in moderation. So just have 2 eggs. Just have 2 slices of bacon, okay? Right? Just have low-fat dairy. Because they're trying to keep their customers. They're not, and my husband was a pharmaceutical sales rep. They're not, and he dropped out because they told him, like, he was like, why can't we just get the cure for this? And he laughed and said, we're not doing cures, we're doing symptom management. And when he was selling one of the drugs that killed 4 people in his territory, and he's just like, you know, this is not it. We're just legal drug dealers, you know? So, and he stopped, this was years before we even met, but he did that, right? I got that right? Yeah.
I worked at a hospital for a while, and every Friday they had what they call grand rounds, which was a luncheon that they did for the doctors, and they brought in a speaker to talk about a particular disease or whatever. Well, number one, every one of the speakers was sponsored by a pharmaceutical company.
Coincidentally.
And the presentation was not about how to prevent that disease from happening. It was about how to treat that with the drug that the pharmaceutical company.
It's always a pill, and then we get into this pill mindset. So when I have, especially when I have my clients, I'm like, it took you years to get here. So now you want to go on a diet for a week or 2 and think it's supposed to have this miraculous change. It doesn't work like that. It took you years to get here. You have to make an actual change. So if you don't change your mindset, because we don't do diet here. I don't ever discuss diet, right? In fact, I don't even believe in diets. This is a lifestyle, okay? It's about 80% staying on track and 20% indulgences, right? Don't let your indulgence creep back into your staples, right? We want to make sure our staples are our staples. Focus on that. But, you know, this keto crap, all this stuff that they're selling to you is not, just make the necessary lifestyle changes. And it takes time, and don't beat yourself up. Just do what you can, do a little at a time. If you're not a person that can just go cold turkey and just cut the light switch off, if you need to trickle into it, then trickle into it. But don't beat yourself up. Just know that you're on the right path and getting there. That's the thing. If you fall down today, make the next meal better. Don't say, well, I already screwed or I already had a whole pie. Now I might as well go ahead and eat something else, okay? Just say, the next one, let me just have a salad. You know, try to balance it out somewhat, okay? Just be kind to yourself, okay? That's the main thing. I'm going to transition to our dishes for today. So nothing's cooked really but one component of it. So I'm going to start with these, I'm going to start with our dessert first. They're already kind of made, but I just want you all to see how easy it is. If you go on my website, again, it's all out of order. It's the chocolate cherry almond bites. I made them for you all before. I brought them in as a treat, but I didn't actually show you all how to make it, and you all had asked me to do that. And I said, since we only have 2 classes left, let me make sure I honor my word and get that done. And the okra. Yeah. And I want to tell you, I'm getting concerned because I have been having a hard time getting fresh okra from the Asian market. So they still have enough?
Yes.
Okay, because Super G was low, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it.
Patel, Indian. Patel Brothers over here. Patel Brothers, Indian. Very good okra. Yeah.
Okay, I will go there. I haven't been there in a minute.
Over here at our university with
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Home Depot, Gay, that place is fabulous.
It is good. That's where I get my brown rice, brown basmati rice. Well, actually, I was getting it from there, but now Gastonia's got an international market, and I get it from there now. Oh. Yep. They just opened up a few months ago.
Where was it?
No, in Gastonia, G-Town.
Oh, yeah. What is the name of that?
Gaston International Market.
Is it the same as Super G?
No, it's a small market, and they focus more on Middle Eastern stuff, but they have brown basmati and all your dried beans and all sorts of things. Okay, so I'm making these chocolate cherry energy bites so you can,
What did you just put in the blender?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to explain now. So if you want to follow along with me on the website, hey Coretta. So we're making these. I'm putting everything into the blender. I already made a batch. Here's what it looks like it's been used because I just used it. So I just did 3/4 cup of almond butter. Now, if you don't like almond butter, you can use cashew butter, whatever nut or seed butter you want, okay? It doesn't matter. but I'm just using almond butter for this. Let me bring this over here. And then I have some dates here. I've already pitted them this morning. So these are medjool dates. Last time when I did the cheesecake, I did those sukari dates that we got from the marketplace. And then I'm out of maple syrup, so I'm using some agave. So I'm going to use a little bit less agave than the maple because agave is sweeter. And dates, almond butter, salt. Okay, and do a pinch of salt. I'm going to blend this until creamy. So you eat this. These are snack bites. So this is not for you to be indulgent, okay? Really 1 bite, max 2. It's very high in calories because it's something to hold you over. So if you're a person, as you're trying to get your life together in terms of how you're eating, and you don't want to just snack on and eat a bag of potato chips, you eat this. This will hold you over into your next meal. Okay, it really is filling. You drink this and drink plenty of water, you'll be just fine. So don't sit there and say, I'm about to sit down and eat these bites. Okay, that's why I want to make sure that's clear. Okay, so I'm just going to blend these components until it's mixed well, so that way when we add the oats, the dates don't have to compete with being broken down. Okay, so now you all see that's kind of creamy. Can you all see in this camera? Yes. Okay, I didn't know if we had switched back over yet. Okay, so then next, I'm going to pour in, let me see. I'm going to poach the oats and then I'll add in the fruit. You can do this by hand if you don't have a food processor, so don't let that stop you, but it makes it a lot easier when you have a food processor. Yeah, I mean, I used to make all my these by hand, for sure. Technically, yes, but you have to pulse it, and especially if you have a high-powered blender, you will have to keep scooping from the bottom because the bottom will get it will be 2 different textures. So you just want to be careful. Yeah. All right, so now we've got some cherries here, some organic dried tart cherries. All right. We've already talked about all the benefits of cherries. So you have the sweet from the dates and a little bit of agave, and you have the contrasting tartness and sourness from the cherries. Okay, and then I'm going to just quickly pulse in some of these, oh, I forgot the coconut flakes. Let's add in a little bit of coconut. Now, if you're a person that hates coconut, then don't add it. Okay, and then technically, you're supposed to roll the finished ball in coconut too. I'm just not going to do that today. I'm just going to add in a couple of these little dairy-free mini chocolate chips. I'm just going to cut them in because we don't want this to become like a chocolate mess. We just want to just kind of incorporate it. There we go. All right. Was that 5 minutes even? I don't think it took that long, right?
Question.
Yes.
What's the sugar content of that? Of the whole recipe?
Yep. Yep, it is 12 grams. 12 grams of sugar, 6 grams of protein, 14 grams of fat. Yeah. But it's the proportion, huh?
Do you want to keep the sugar under 7?
So you want to keep your refined sugar under 8 grams per day. This is whole. This is natural sugar. It has the fiber and all the minerals. So it's not the same as if I was pouring in like brown sugar or something like that. Okay. And then another reason why you're not going to sit here and eat 5, 6, 7 of these. Okay. You're eating 1, max 2. Okay. And it's filling. When you do eat it, it really does. You are full. You're not hungry. If you're still hungry, there's some other stuff going on, some emotional stuff going on. Okay. Well, for a snack. So if you're a person that has 2 snack times, then the first snack time you can have one, then you have a meal, and if you have another snack time, you want to have another one, then that's okay. But don't gorge on this. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. All right, so you pull it. So what you can do with these balls, when you pour in a bowl, I like to use a number 24 scoop, which is equivalent to 2 tablespoons. That's what the recipe serving size is based upon. And you can roll them into balls, or you can press it into a pan and cut bars and put them in the refrigerator, okay, and just wrap them in parchment paper. You don't have to do the balls, or if you're saying that has too much effort, too much work, okay, you can just do that, okay. Slim bars, okay, not this, okay, not brownie size, okay. You should be able. You should get at least. This will make about 24 balls. So 2 balls is 1 serving. Okay, 2 balls is 1 serving. Based on the nutrition facts that you see on the website, that's the equivalent of 2 balls. Okay, so you want to make the same size for if you did squares or bars. Okay, they should be very small. So I've already made some for you guys here. If it's not enough to go around, then we have more here that we can do. All right, so I'm going to just put this here. So we already have one thing done. That's a great thing. So I always encourage everybody, if you're not going to go fully raw, you should at least eat something raw every day. So who can tell me why I'm always preaching have something raw in your diet every single day? Digestion is a little warmer. If you're eating a plant-forward diet, fiber is never going to be an issue because you only can get fiber from plants. So it's not necessarily fiber. Not that there's not fiber, but that's not the thing I'm preaching.
Vitamins are intact.
Fully intact. So you get all the enzymes needed to break down and digest foods that have been unadulterated. And that's the best way, because anytime you add heat to something, you've changed the molecular structure. It's a form of processing. So if we steam something, it's processed. Anything that's not raw is processed to some degree. It's how processed is it. So you want to make sure that everything that you eat in a day, if it came out of a can or a bag, and that's what you eat most of the time, then you probably have some health issues. You probably don't feel your best. The more fresh fruits and vegetables you're eating, the better you're going to feel, and the less health problems you're going to have. So if you can just start with having 1 raw thing a day, and it doesn't have to just be a salad as most people think of. We've done many raw recipes in this class where you feel like you're getting a meal, but it's actually raw, okay? And breakfast is usually the easiest thing for people. They can do a smoothie, because that's a raw meal, okay? That's easiest for people to start with, but we've done like the raw Nola, we've done the berry pudding, we've done all sorts of things that you all have said you all loved, and it's completely raw. Okay, so there are different ways to do that. And I forgot to mention this. The oats that I get, of course, they're organic, because oats and wheat are one of the highest sprayed crops in the United States. So always make sure to get your oats organic. If you're a person with celiac disease or sensitive to gluten, make sure it's gluten-free. Oats are naturally gluten-free, but they're usually processed in places with gluten-containing grains, so they can get mixed up. So if you have a sensitivity, you want to make sure that the oats are labeled as gluten-free. And then if you want full nutrition, get them sprouted, okay? Because that's when they're alive, and that's when the micronutrients are most bioavailable to the body when you eat it, and it's easier on your digestion. Are these more expensive? Yes, they are. Okay, so this bag was like $7 or $8. Huh? Well, Quaker I haven't seen Quaker put out organic oats yet. I keep looking for it. I'm sure they're going to get on the bandwagon at some point. I've yet to see it. Bob's Red Mill has them, and this brand has them. I got this particular bag from Publix. Yeah, and this particular bag was like $7, huh? Food Line does have it. Food Line does have this. I just got this particular bag from Publix. Yep. So these grains that you see, they're gluten-free, so they were made isolated from the other grains. They're organic and they're sprouted. Okay, and they have them for the rolled oats. They have them for the quick cooking oats, which is another form of processing because those are further steamed even more. And then they also have them for the steel cut oats. Okay, so, oh, sure. The ones I have today, I got from, That's great, Mike. The dairy-free chocolate chips. Hey, can y'all still hear me? So I have the white ones. There's dark chocolate ones. I'm not a chocolate fan personally. And then when I do consume, I don't love dark chocolate flavor. I'm more of a milk chocolate person. But you can get these anywhere. I got this particular bag this morning from Food Lion. Food Lion's been coming up. Food Lion has been coming up. So they have a whole gluten-free section in Food Lion. So if you go on the regular baking aisle, it won't be there. It'll be in the gluten-free aisle. They have these at Walmart. They have these at Target. I mean, I haven't been anywhere where they don't have this Enjoy Life brand. I can pass this around if y'all want to see it. Okay. Okay, don't spill it, y'all. They're open. Okay. Okay. So what now?
Milk that I gotten used to is that cow thing. I went to Trip, and Trip, and then they got the milk, TRIPP.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. They do have it now. You have to talk to the grocery manager of that store, and they'll bring in more stuff. Yeah. Yeah. My nephew drinks that as his milk since my sister's breast milk has since she stopped producing. Okay. Do you want to watch this out? Okay, thank you. Okay. So our dessert is ready. All right. So the next thing is we're going to do this pineapple salsa, which is going to go on top of our salad. Okay. So you don't have to drench stuff in oil and all that kind of stuff that we've talked about before. Are y'all good? Okay. Put this over here. Move this. If y'all want to taste some in the bag, feel free. If you want to see what it tastes like. Okay. Yes. Feel free. It's no problem. I heard somebody say they're a chocoholic, Lord. Okay. All right. Where's my cutting board? Oh, crap. I gotta get another cutting board. Huh? Okay. Okay. Y'all perked up with the sampling. Y'all are funny. Okay. Lecithin is an essential mineral that you need in your body. It's helps with your neurotransmitters. But it's just about the source of the lecithin. So you can get it from sunflower seeds or from soybeans.
My wife had ovarian cancer. She was told not to eat it. Maybe it's because of that.
That's a whole different conversation. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't realize that. Y'all can take it.
You're not going to have anything left.
That's fine. I've got more at home. That's fine. Okay, that's more than fine. If y'all like it, I love it, as my husband says. Okay, I get y'all back with me? Okay. All right. So we've established that this pineapple is right. Yes, for the most part. All right. Do you all know how to properly cut a pineapple? Okay, you can do that too. I have one of those. The thing I don't love about it is that it leaves so much pineapple that's edible on the inside. So it's wasteful. Okay, and so when you go and buy your fruit, if you buy your fruit whole instead of buying it pre-cut, one, you can get it organic. Two, it actually tastes sweet and fresh. It will add to that. If you're buying the fruit that's already been pre-chopped, the water is draining from it. It's aging rapidly, and the flavor is going downhill. If you don't eat it like same day, it's best to do it yourself. But folks are lazy now, right? So if you're lazy, then invest in a food processor. Okay, but the best tool in your kitchen is this. Okay, a chef's knife. You can do everything with a food processor. It's the original food processor. Okay, so what you would do, and I think we have more. I was gonna do this, but I think we have enough pineapple. You just twist this off.
Twist it out.
You can replant this and grow another pineapple. Yes. Okay. All right. All pineapples you just twist off like that.
You put it in soil or water?
You start off, you put this in water
Okay.
and let it get roots, and then you transfer it. Okay.
And you can grow in this environment?
Listen to our gardener.
That is a very sensitive thing. You have to make sure it stays.
It's tropical. So
My neighbor did one. That's how I found out about it.
you do this. Now it will take years for it to produce fruit. Okay, like all fruit doesn't. Most fruit trees don't bear fruit the first year. It takes a couple years. Like I think this takes 5 or 6 years before you get fruit from pineapple. Just like avocado takes like 7 years before it starts to produce. Same with asparagus, takes that many years for it to start to produce edible asparagus. So like even an apple tree takes 2 to 3 years before it produces fruit. Okay, so you just take this. And then, hey, you set it and forget it. Once you plant it, it'll do its thing as long as it's warm, all right? So when you're going to finish processing this pineapple, you just shave off the sides, and then you take your knife and you just go around the edge and take it off, and that's it. Then you can chop it into however you want to do it, slices. Now, the most important thing about pineapple, why it's medicinal, right? Because all of our fruits, can y'all still hear me? All of our fruits and veggies offer some type of medicinal benefit. So one of the claims to fame for pineapple is called bromelain, which is a digestive enzyme, and it's good for if you're sick. It helps to further break down. Where's my compost? And all the bromelain is in the core, the very thing that most people throw away. Okay, all of that bromelain is in the core of the pineapple, which is completely edible. So in our taco salad today, when we have our pineapple salsa, the core is mixed in here. So you have some that are softer, which is the flesh, and some that are more firm. And I think that's good to have textural diversity, so it's not all soft when you're eating, okay? And then you're getting the medicinal.
You leave the skin on and you just take the hairs off of it?
No. I take the knife and I strip this off.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then when you strip this off, then you take the skin and make a tea. Okay, because all the nutrients that are in here gets into the tea. So it uses it, and then when you finish that, then you can compost it and get that black gold. Okay, all right. So this is how. So now I'm gonna have to when I get home, because now this has been exposed. You see the meat here. Okay, but all pineapples you just twist off. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, you just twist off. All right. So don't waste it. The main thing is when you're. Well, let me just show you a little bit because I got to process it anyway. I don't want to cut the whole thing and then have all these extra pineapple here.
And you can do honeydew and cantaloupe the same way.
What are you talking about?
As far as cut the bottom and the top and shave down.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, I do that one slightly differently, but yeah, there's no right or wrong way. So that's definitely a good way, for sure.
What I do with the pineapple, I wash it off real good and I boil the skin.
Yep, that's what we're talking about. Make the tea. All right, this is not my knife. This is their knife. It's not as sharp. So the worst thing in the kitchen is a dull knife. It makes it super dangerous. Okay, so you just come around the edge, and you don't want to cut off too much skin, right? Okay. Leaving these eyes on here, personally, I leave them there. They're totally edible, right? And you just do that. And you just go around. You just do all that all the way around. And then once this thing, I chopped this pineapple while they were doing dance class today. Okay. So that's how you do it. You just go around like that, and you should have very little skin on the pineapple. So when you use those things that spiral out the pineapple, it has so much pineapple still left inside. And it looks beautiful, but it's pretty wasteful. It's pretty wasteful, and we don't want to waste it. Okay? Okay. Here's my compost bag right here. So at home, I have a compost bin, and then when I want to grow something, I have, because my soil is crappy. It will eventually become great soil. Months. You just keep adding to it, and just add leaves to it, so you have the carbon, you have the nitrogen. and you keep mixing them together, and then they'll break down, and then they become soil. Right? It can't just be food scraps. You have to add the other components, like the dead leaves and stuff, like add that to it, and yard clippings and things like that. Okay. Okay, so we have our pineapple. All right. Actually, let me get y'all engaged again. Keep me honest. So, anybody ever had a pineapple salsa before? No. Okay. Yeah, but I never showed you how to do it. So I'm just trying to honor my word. So I have 2 organic bell peppers here that I've already chopped up. I have a whole pineapple. I brought 2 pineapples that are already sliced. So I'm going to put that in there. I'll have some extra left over if we need more. So I'll just start with where we are. Okay, mix all that together. All right. What else do I need? I think I need garlic, right? So this is about, so most of this garlic's gonna go for our taco meat. 3. Okay, I'll leave the rest of that for our taco meat. All right, so we've got bell pepper, pineapple, garlic, some red onion, correct?
Yeah.
How many red onions? 1?
1 and a half.
Were you double?
Half a red onion.
I am doubling.
Okay, that's 1 then.
Okay. Everything in this class is at least double or if not tripled.
This is a taco salad?
So this is the salsa that's going to go on top of our taco salad. Okay. So let's see.
2/3 of cilantro.
So we have our cilantro process. I just did all this morning, y'all. Yes. See, we eat with our eyes. Okay. So if you're a person that wants to buy all this pre-chopped, do it. If you want to buy it and put it on the fruit processor, it really doesn't take that long. That's why we could go a little bit longer in our lecture today, because this doesn't take that long. All right, what else?
Well, since we doubled the juice of 2 limes.
Okay, so what y'all say is spicy is not. So I brought 2. Is it okay if I use 2 instead of just the 1?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, that's why it's not pre-chopped. I wanted to make sure that y'all were okay with that. All right. And so, is this a jalapeno?
No, it's a chili.
What kind? What is this?
That's Thai chili, isn't it?
I've brought this several times before. What is this? Yep. Mike wins the imaginary prize today.
Oh, so that's what that is, the SERRANO. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's the serrano versus the jalapeno?
It has a different flavor. I personally don't actually like jalapeno. The flavor of the jalapeno itself, personally don't like it. Well, it just stands out too much. It doesn't balance well in my opinion. This has more of a balancing flavor. But the only reason I didn't get it is because when I went grocery shop, they were out of jalapenos, so I just got the serranos. And I believe they're the same heat level. I don't consider either one spicy at all, but yeah, these aren't spicy. Really? Okay. Well, I didn't take the seeds out. I think y'all be okay. Okay. y'all can deal. This is.
And do you have your own version of hot sauce?
No.
Okay. Because some of my coworkers that went to Nigeria, they had their own hot sauce they carried on.
No, my dad did. Because my dad really truly loved the heat. It's not that I love the heat. It's just what you all say is hot. I don't think it's hot, but I don't have to have it. It's not. I wouldn't make my own hot sauce line. You know, that wouldn't be in my future. That'd be more like my husband doing that. Okay, so now we got a little heat. And what does heat do? I've talked about this before. I'm trying to do as many recaps.
It stimulates.
it acts as a catalyst, right? So it helps to drive whatever nutrients into the cells. That's what it does. So any kind of herbal formula will always have some type of catalyst to help drive it into the cells as one of its components. When you're making any kind of, apothecary good, that's part of it. You have the foundational and all that. Okay, what else? No. And I don't know how juicy these limes are because they're not fully ripe. So I brought 5 limes just to make sure. The lime juice is the key to this thing tasting right. So let's see. You're absolutely right. I've meant to. I didn't. I do the next one like that. I actually had some decent juice in this one. All right, so maybe two might do us. Okay. One more time? Oh, yeah. Okay. The limes came through. I love the way fresh lime juice smells. When I'm at home and I juice them like this, before I compost it, I take this and wipe my whole face with it. The vitamin C is really good for your skin. It really wakes you up. You feel really refreshed. And then most folks in the holistic field, because we don't wear deodorant, because you don't need it if you're eating clean, you put this, and this is your actual deodorant. Okay, and that's how you use these. If you're eating clean, you won't stink when you sweat. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Don't do that if you're eating meat and cheese still. Please put on deodorant, okay? It does not work. So as Kimberly reminded me, because I meant to do it, to get the most juice out of your lemons and limes, you want to quarter them. So especially the ones that are stingy with the juice. I got to be able to talk and squeeze. If you quarter them, you get way more juice. Okay, so.
They get super hard when they get older, too, in the refrigerator.
They do.
If you put them in a jar of water, you can get you a little longer.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Ginger.
In a mason jar, so the air can get in.
The glass jar.
Wow, okay, thank you.
We're going to have to edit that out. Hands are just slippery. All right. And then for good measure, I like to put just like a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. It really just brings everything together. All right. No, this one is not kosher salt. This one is a real fancy, expensive salt. So that's my husband don't have to worry about me going on shopping sprees. It's about going to these daggone specialty stores. I had to get this salt, baby. I had to. Yeah. I think this is looking pretty good. Can y'all see it? And make sure. Yeah. Avocado would be a great addition. I can't remember who I was talking to recently, because I hear a lot of people tell me, including my husband initially, like, I don't like avocado. So if you're when they put like plain avocado slices on there, avocado has it has no flavor, okay? And the texture is really creamy. But if you're eating avocado raw and you're not mashing it up, you want to either season it, like put a little bit of salt or put like the everything but the bagel seasoning on it. Or what I prefer to do, marinate it. Marinate the avocado, and then you can put those slices on there. So putting it in like some coconut aminos or soy sauce or whatever sauce that you like, marinate the avocado slices, and then you can apply it to whatever raw dish, and then you can have those avocado like that where it's enjoyable. So it's adding flavor, not just nutrition. Okay, so now we've got our beautiful pineapple salsa. If we end up eating more, we have enough components to make more. Okay, and now for the main event. So
I read that avocado is the one fruit that you should eat every day.
you absolutely should. An avocado a day keeps the doctor away. They've been coming down. There was a trade embargo issue that had the, yes. It was crazy. It was ridiculous. Okay. Now, here is our meat for today, y'all. Here's our meat. These are soaked walnuts. I just soaked them since we got here. So our taco meat today is walnut meat. And if you all recall, the last time I did walnut meat in this class, I made those Nigerian meat pies, and you all said you all liked it. What?
I have always had a pressure cooker.
Uh-huh.
I did the cabbage and used that pressure cooker.
You did?
I am in love with my pressure cooker.
I tell you do some beans and it's a new age one or the old school?
No, it's a new age. I'm scared of the old age.
Oh, they don't grow up.
Yeah, I'm scared of it.
Only if you know how to use it.
I said, I don't know how to use it. I'm
I'm
scared of
going
it.
to use a pressure cooker.
Yeah, those Instant Pots are kind of a game changer. It's about to look more like meat. Okay, so question we have here. Why do we soak our nuts, seeds, and beans? What's the main reason? Phytic acid, yep. What else?
And it has to protect its shell.
The anti-nutrients, the lectins, yep. What else?
More digestible.
More digestible, absolutely. Easier on your digestive tract, yep. And the other thing, this is pre-sprouting. So if we were to let this soak even longer, they start to sprout, they come alive, especially when they're seeds. So it makes it, all the nutrients in there even more absorbable to the body. So it's something you really want to get in the practice of doing. And then if you want to soak, particularly with beans, if you put a little strip of kombu in there, just like it does in the seed, it soaks up all the stuff that you don't want to eat. And it also helps prevent, especially if it's with beans, gas. People who don't eat a lot of beans, they tend to get gassy. It cuts that totally or significantly reduces that.
What does?
Putting a strip of kombu or seaweed when you're in your soaking liquid. Kombu is a type of seaweed. Yep.
With the walnuts, you just use water.
I just use water.
Can I do that with almonds as well?
Yeah, any nut or seed. Any nut or seed. Yep. It depends on what I'm sprouting. It's typically within 48 hours, you'll see 36 to 48 hours, depending on what it is, you'll start to see sprouts. The little tails, yep. That means it's alive. It's come back to life. And so I already have this recipe on my YouTube channel of me making this taco salad. And I actually did it with pecans because I was at my sister's house and she didn't have any walnuts. She had pecans, so I used pecans. You can use whatever you like. Like the first raw dish I did in this class, I did it with sunflower seeds when we did those raw tacos, right? So if you're nut averse, the sunflower seeds do great. Pumpkin seeds do great, but pumpkin seeds is way more expensive to do a big batch. But instead of buying like that big pack of ground beef for $10, you can get you, for $5, you get the same amount of nuts and have plenty of meat if you need that meat look.
You said what, 45 minutes?
An hour. I just, when I got here, I just put them in water, right? You don't have to do these overnight. So here's batch one. Okay. It's about to be done. This is the only thing we're cooking. It's the only thing we're cooking. Everything else is done. Where's my bowl? I need a bowl. Y'all hung in well today for not getting fed. Let's see. Right now, this is the taco salad.
Taco salad.
Yep. All right. So, and I chose to blend this in batches just so that the bottom doesn't become like liquefied.
Can you freeze that?
Yes, you can. But make sure that they're as dry as possible and do it on a flat surface because it'll clump up real bad in a not good way. All right. All right, so here's batch 2. So obviously I've doubled the recipe for you all, okay? So that everyone can get something substantial. All right, so our meat is done. Now, technically, this is raw. We don't have to cook these nuts. We can season this up and eat it as is, okay? We'll do that in another recipe when it's totally 100% raw. I'm trying to ease y'all into it, okay? Okay.
If I give up cheese, I have to give up pizza.
No, you really definitely don't have to give up pizza. It depends. You want to store your nuts in the freezer, and then they'll kind of last for forever like that. If they're out, it depends on how quick they go rancid. If you can smell them, if you see oil leaking in the bag, then it started to go bad already. All right, so this already kind of looks like ground, some kind of meat-like substance. Okay, so all right, so now to keep y'all engaged, tell me what am I doing first?
Red onion.
All right. All right, so now we're really hot over here. So I'm gonna add some water just to cool it off a little bit. Now, who remembers why we want to water saute our veggies? Yes, because you don't need to cook with oil at all. Add oil with intention. Add oil as a flavor enhancer or as a finisher. But like I told you all before, can y'all still hear me? 1 tablespoon of oil is 120 calories. So really let that sink in. So when you're starting off by pouring half your pan with oil and you keep adding oil as you go along, you've added in easily 700 to 1,000 calories, even if the dish is healthy. Okay? And then people are like, I don't know, I'm eating healthy, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. Cut the oil. Okay? You don't need that much oil. If you're a person that doesn't want to go completely oil-free, that's fine. When you do use it, use a tablespoon. You don't need that much. And you can there's water in the vegetables. You don't need the oil. As you see, I only put in a 1/4 cup just to cool the pan off. It's fine. Okay? It's totally fine. You see it's already browned. You don't need the oil. It doesn't have to be layered in fat, and it doesn't compromise the flavor. You might think it's not, unless you're going for something deep fried, which is trans fat automatically when it's deep fried. Okay, so that's absolutely not healthy. That would be on your indulgent day that you'll do once a quarter, right? Right?
We'll get there, we'll get there.
I didn't hear confirmation.
We'll get there, we'll get there. It's a work in progress.
So when you learn better, you do better. All right. I'm going to go ahead and add in our garlic. Yep, I just minced this up in the food processor today. Okay. Okay, good. Yes, I have we use 1 red onion for the salsa and 2, I chopped up 3 red onions total, and I chopped up 12 cloves of garlic total. And they were fat ones, the fat or garlic cloves. All right, what else do I need to add? What's next? All right, I've got that. I had that. Nope. Oh, and I forgot to add the tomatoes for our salsa too. I gotta add that. Y'all slacking. Y'all are really slacking. Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay, so it said add the tomatoes next?
Yes.
All right. So this is kind of a critical component because tomatoes add umami, which is that thing you can get when you're eating dead animal flesh. So unless you're a person that is allergic to nightshades or don't like tomatoes, this is something you don't want to miss. You have to add in something else like miso paste or nutritional yeast, something that has glutamates, which will mimic that umami-ness. These are sun-dried tomatoes. To fully answer your question, I used two types. I used one that was smoked, which is why they're dark, and one that was not smoked, okay? Because I remember Leon didn't like the smoked tomato, so I didn't do all smoked tomatoes. I just did a little bit of smoked tomato. So that you can still hopefully like it, Leon. This is taco seasoning, and I went mild for you all instead of spicy, okay? Okay. Was that next or the meat was next?
Taco seasoning.
Taco seasoning? Okay. All right. I brought some more in case I need to add more taco seasoning since I'm like tripling this recipe. I should have brought my other pan. So when it gets a little bit sticky, all you have to do is add just a little bit of water and it keeps things loose. If y'all eat first, y'all leave. Okay. Yeah, you start serving them salad. All right, so if you have your plates ready, we'll go ahead and get your salads prepped. All right, so what's next?
4 tablespoons of soy sauce.
Okay, I'm gonna add in the meat though. Okay. I'm about to do this in batches. My pan is actually not big enough. I underestimated. Let's switch utensils now. All right. Huh? It doesn't matter. As long as everybody gets some. All right, add just a little bit more water. Just keep it moving, keep it flowing. Now, as you all look at it, it starts looking like kind of like a ground beef.
I'm excited to do this with my almonds.
Okay. Cover it completely in water in a glass jar and leave it in your refrigerator. And then like once a week change the water out. It'll stay fresh for a long time. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, right? Right. All right, so I gotta do 4. Well, I'm tripling this recipe, so I'm just starting with double the soy sauce because it may not. There's a little bit of salt in this, so I don't want to make it salty. So make sure that we're good. Now, what does that look like to y'all? Without the cruelty and the slaughter and the the murder and all that, right?
How do we get our vitamin B12?
Excuse me?
How do we get our vitamin B12?
Seaweed. That's where you get it from naturally. Not the fortified. So fortified B12, you get it in nutritional yeast.
Is that good for you? Is that okay?
Yeah, nutritional yeast is fine. I prefer to get it unfortified because the minerals, anything that's fortified, they use synthetic vitamins and minerals. So in a pinch is fine, but doing it unfortified. But if you want the full source where you get the vitamin D, the B12, all the natural, you get it from seaweed. And the best source to get that from is chlorella. Yeah, chlorella has vitamin D, it has omega-3 fatty acids, and it has vitamin B12, plus a whole host of amino acids or protein. It's something you should have every day. It's something I drink every day, every morning.
And you get that in the seafood section?
The chlorella, no, you need to go to a health food store.
Oh, okay. And is it powder?
Yes, and make sure if you get the powdered kind that you get the cracked cell wall type, because that's the kind that's going to be absorbable. Yes.
Is it very salty?
No,
No. Okay.
it's not salty at all. CHLORELLA, chlorella. Yes, this is where the fish that y'all are eating gets their omega-3s and all that. They get it from the algae. So you can cut that middleman out and get it direct from the source, plus all the chlorophyll, which cleanses your blood.
And you know, more they started to eat algae now. They started to harvest algae.
They are for fuel, as a clean source of fuel. But yeah, I eat a lot of seaweed. The fish eat the seaweed, and that's how they get the omega-3s that people think they're getting when they eat salmon and mackerel and all that. The fish are getting it from there, from the algae. So you can just eat. We don't need to eat them. We don't need to eat them at all. Excuse me? You're learning. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad. The tomato, I had diced up some Roma tomatoes that goes in here. So y'all didn't. I asked y'all what was next.
I remember now. I wasn't following the
Yeah, y'all left me hanging. Y'all left me hanging. All right, now I need a tablespoon. That's after it's off heat. Yeah, you do that last because if you do lime citrus on the heat, it gets bitter, and then you really can't. It'll just taste bitter. You don't taste the lime or the lemon. We're done. So it's really good. Very good. Okay. So turn this off. So if we need to make some more meat, we can do that. Because my pan was not big enough. Now, if we eat like this, it'll have a little bit of a crunch to it. If you cook it longer with the lid on for like 5 minutes, then it becomes even more tender without the little crunch. I kind of like the crunch, actually. I like the crunch a lot. All right, and if you're a person that needs it more salty, then add more soy sauce. I didn't put the full double amount you saw. And that's it. So now I'm going to just do the lime juice. Over the meat. Yep. All right. And these are feeling a little tight, so I'm definitely going to quarter these. All right. This is a great lunch, by the way. It's a dinner too, but this is a great lunch.
Would this work good in a jar?
Raw, yes. I would have, it can. I would not have the, I would have the greens on top. I would have the quote unquote meat on the bottom and the salsa in the middle. I love a mason jar salad. That's my favorite. Oh, you did? Yeah. You give me all kind of problems today. 32 ounce. And I stuffed the greens in there until I can't stuff a single thing in there. Yeah. On top, on top. I don't think so. Is that door open? Is this door open? Is this door open? We need him to come open that door. Oh, okay. Get some. They have forks in there. All right. Just give that a stir. See if I need to add that extra lime, and then we can eat, y'all. Okay. Well, we started 15 minutes late. Give myself some credit. Okay. So just cut this one in half. All right.
So while we're waiting, I want to make sure everybody knows that the last class officially is scheduled for April 29th. On that day, my good sis Jackie.
30th.
And my good sis Deborah have decided that we're going to have potluck that day. So we would like anybody that wants to participate to bring a dish, prepare a dish that is, the recipe is on the Naija Barbie website. So pick a recipe that is on the website and let us know. They're passing around a sheet of paper that you can sign up for the potluck and bring the dish to share with everyone. And that way she doesn't have to cook that day. We can all practice and we can all get together and have community food. All right? So that's the 29th.
I think that's the 30th.
30th. Okay, the 30th. Y'all know what it is. Look it up. 2 Sundays from now. Okay? So we'll remind you again next week so that you can prepare your dish to bring the following week.
Very good.
All right, now appreciate y'all.
The paper's going around, so that way they give us an idea.
The paper's going around, so
So
we know what
they
you
get the
bring.
meat and then get the sauce on top.
Because I can't do the hot stuff. Put this on top.
Okay, y'all. Now come around with the dessert. All right, so thoughts? Yeah? Okay. I got 3 balls I gotta make. Yeah. Okay, see? And that's how, so if you're a person like my husband that can't say taco salad without shells, then there's some shells. Okay.
And you know what this would be good with?
Yukon Gold. Oh, y'all love the Yukon Gold, huh? And it's very filling. So, and again, so the meat we just cooked, you can do that totally raw. You would do the same thing. It would just be raw. And then you just kind of let it sit for a little while so the flavors could absorb, the taco season could absorb, and then you have a fully raw dish. And then so something like that, because raw walnuts I still have a slight allergy to. That's why I cook them. But if you did like sunflower seeds, like we did with the previous raw tacos we did, it soaks up all that flavor, and then you have a completely raw dish, and then you get all those enzymes, all those nutrients, all that flavor.
And you're supposed to chew your food at least
15 times before you swallow, at least 15 times.
I'm a work in progress. It's spicy.
It's spicy?
I love it. No, I like spicy.
Okay, okay. Okay. Thank you, Q. I really appreciate that feedback. Make these other balls for the ladies back there. And that too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Q.
See you in the morning.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to turn your phone back on.
The only thing I would possibly add to make this better, it would be the marinated avocado. And then that takes it to the next level. You're getting the fats from the walnut, but then you can add the extra healthy fats from the avocado. But then you don't have to add sour cream and all the other crap on there if you're that kind of person that does that, okay? You just add the avocado. You know, a sauce person. I didn't mean it like that, Mike. I meant that with the best of intention. I'm glad y'all like it. You all saw how quickly this was to put together. So there's really no excuse. You can't say you don't have time. Okay, you got time. The time you could get in your car and drive somewhere, you could do this. So. Yeah, they can have it. We still got a lot of stuff. Look, we got dinner tonight. I always leave with the intention of having dinner tonight, and it's normally all gone. What are the top nutrients in the dish? So bromelain from the pineapple. Yep. What are you getting from the walnuts? Omega-3. Who said that? Did Coretta say that? Did the other expert in the room say that? So you're getting those omega-3 fatty acids. Remember, because that's essential. So that means we have to get that from food, right? You do not have to eat fish to get your omega-3s. You're definitely getting plenty of fiber. You're getting lots of vitamin C and potassium. You're getting magnesium. And then what does cilantro do? What is the claim of fame of cilantro that we've talked about? Heavy metal. And a blood cleanser, it cleans out heavy metals, yes. All right. I'm glad y'all like it.
Anybody need some lettuce?
So that's romaine for the most part that was purchased.
So bromelain?
Mm-hmm.
Cleanser for the cilantro?
Bromelain is an enzyme that breaks down enzyme. It helps if you're sick, you want to consume that. It's anti-inflammatory. So that's one of nature's remedies. Yeah, it's tons of vitamins, lots of vitamin C, lots of fiber, very high omega-3s, and the good fats. I mean, so all of your macros are covered, but all your micros are covered too. So as I said, the only thing missing would be some avocado, marinated avocado. I like to marinate it, and it's just like for like 10 minutes. In like soy sauce, coconut aminos, teriyaki sauce, whatever it is you're making. Okay, any other questions before we officially close out class? Y'all good? I can take it home. We'll have it for dinner tonight. Okay, well, class is officially dismissed. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. We'll be back here next week, okay? Hey. Thank you so much.